Oh, hey, folks. I wanted to start out by telling you that my swelling of my foot came down a little bit. And because I'm at work here, I don't want to take off my shoes and my socks because it would be less than dignified. And I better not do it. Not today. And I have to do a big yard tomorrow, and I would assume that my foot is going to swell up like a balloon. So we'll do it then and see if there's any difference where you can tell. And in keeping with the Inca traditions there, um, I had a barbecue sauce that broke, and it made a perfect Abyssinian. The Incas used to use. I think the Mayans used to use it too. That were before them. They would cut these shards of glass, and it was called Abyssinian. And it was so sharp that even doctors today, some prefer it to razors. To do surgery and so forth. But that's what I essentially made. I took it was a box, one of those postal boxes, and my car was so jammed that I threw it out of the car, and I had my shoe off, and it sliced my foot, the bad one, of course. So I guess I'll show you. It's not. I can't take off both, but I can show you my foot. It's swelling a little bit, but it's not bad today because I didn't cut yards. When I start to cut yards, it's going to be a different matter. That will be a different game altogether. Okay, here's my foot. I could not see my injury because it hides from me. So there's my foot. It doesn't really look like it's really swollen. And I could not see my cut because I couldn't get my leg into position. So I'll show you the cut on the bottom that I did with that piece of Pat's Homemade Barbecue Abyssinian glued to the postal box, and I ain't kidding. Look at the cut that it made. I know it made a cut because I can feel it. So I don't know if you can see it. I can't see it. But I know I can see it bleeding through my sock. But I think it's starting to heal a little bit now. But anyways, there it is. There are more exciting things in life, but I sure am glad that it's starting to heal up a little bit. I can tell you that. I am real happy about that. So let me throw my thing on, my sock on, and then we'll go ahead and run the news, because I think it's a Friday today, isn't it? And they called me in for extra hours at my job, so I was real happy about that. And then I got a lot of hours for this weekend too, so it's good. I mean, I need it. You know what I mean? I need it. So, all right. Now you're caught up on my broken foot. And promise is kept. Although not exactly exciting, right? Now, let's go ahead and let's check out the news and let's see what's happening. Why don't we do a run, okay? You want to do a run of the Bitcoin? Let's see. It was down a little bit, but not that much. It might have gone back up. Let's take a look. Well, I hit gold, so let's see what. All right, it's 5 o'clock, so these will be accurate. It's going to close out for the day. Okay. Gold is up $6 at $17.82. Silver's up 16 cents at $26.18. Okay. We'll move on to Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is a 32.2. So it went down a little bit. But in my opinion, pay dirt for Bitcoin is around 25,000. If it hits south of 25,000, I think you're going to see a mass exodus out of Bitcoin, because they're going to be all too eager to believe that it's going to come down to 20,000. And remember, that was the high for a long time. So I don't know if it will or not, but I have a feeling that if it drops under 30, it may still be able to recover. But if it drops under 25,000, I think you got real problems with Bitcoin. I really do. And if it triggers hard enough, you could have a mass sell-off. And that's, if it came down to like 6,000, 7,000, 5,500, all of a sudden it don't make any sense to mine it anymore. That's what was happening. It was too expensive to mine it. You didn't get enough money to mine it. So the people were selling their mining operations. So there you have it. Anyways, we have the markets covered. You want to check Tesla? Tesla stock.
Tesla closed down 1.17%.
1.1%, so probably about $70 closed down. That's it. So no big deal on that. And now we'll check the Dow, and then we'll go right into the news, okay? It's up 237 points, okay? So it's at 34.4. That's the Dow Jones. I don't waste time with all the other things, okay? GameStop is at 209, down 1% today. Okay, let's go ahead and get into Drudge, and we'll find out what's shaking and moving at 5:02 p.m. on a Friday evening heading into the weekend, okay? It says that it's very, very hot in Seattle and in Portland, Oregon. They're setting a record. I think they said it was 113 degrees Fahrenheit. That's pretty hot, folks. That's pretty hot. All right, the Miami calamity here with that collapsed building, and I saw it. They had the surveillance on it, and they showed the building collapsing. 4 dead now, 159 missing. I don't think it's going to go well with that. It collapsed evidently very early in the morning. So, although it was light out, because I saw the video, unless they enhanced it with light, it was probably 6:30 in the morning, would be my guess, or 6 o'clock in the morning. But it was light out, so it was at least 6:15, because I know I get up with 6 o'clock in the morning and it's just starting to break. All right. New York Times says Trump organization could face criminal charges next week. I'll believe it when I see it, okay? Because for all of you far lefties over there that are so happy about what's going on and how safe they're keeping us, and how we should be so grateful to everything that they're doing, and we should having big parties and celebrations for the frontline heroes. You know the frontline heroes? The superheroes. There's a sign in front of that place. One of the big places there in where I live. And they're superheroes. Superheroes. You understand? So we ought to be very, very happy. All you big libs, right? So I'll believe it when I see it, because I think Donald Clinton was one of you. You understand? Big libs. He was the one that put us into this godforsaken blank Marshall blank. Okay? Okay? Because I can't say it because I don't want problems. He put us there. You understand? Last March. Not this March. The March before. You understand? Because he was so concerned about everybody. You understand? We would have all died, right? Mindless libs. Oh, that's what the experts say, right? That's what the experts say. The new variation. Experts are saying the new variation from the place where, merry old, that place, the new variation, and a place where you walk in and it has 1 million people in it, in being the first part of the word. You walk in to the country. That's a huge country behind China. It's got 1 billion people in it almost, I believe. You walk in. Okay? That's another variation, right? Woo! You know what? Okay? So, I don't want to get into it. Let's read on and we'll find out all the news fit to air. Top GOP pollster, that's the GOP is Republicans. The pollster says to win, we need him to disappear. They're talking about Donald Clinton. It's all, in my opinion, an elaborate psyop. It's all of the news organizations seem to be owned by one interest, the descendants of certain people in World War II. And they want us to behave in a certain way, thereby having us demand our own captivity, turning history on its head because they did not demand it, okay? They were kept captives in World War II, but they did not demand their captivity. They mistakenly decided to leave the United States because of the fact that Russia was such an bastion of equality, being communist, and they didn't like the way we were treating black people. That's the God's honest truth. I told this on my last station. So they decided to go to two primary places that were safer, Russia and good old Germany, okay, in the 30s, because they didn't like how we were treating black people, which there was validity to that. There's no doubt about that. But they sure as hell paid. They sure as hell paid for it, because many of them, you know what I'm saying. Now they're putting us into bondage, which we demand. We demand the bondage. We want our jobs to be gone or work from home so we don't have to go anywhere. That's what we want. We're not going to settle for anything else. You know, I was telling that other security guard here, I was telling him, it's just like, you know, like if you had, like, you know, if you could F with prisoners and you could make them do what you wanted to do, and you could say to a prisoner, what do you want? And he'd say, geez, I want to go back to jail. Say, well, you know, that's where he belongs, right? But he'd say, well, you know, don't you want to go out on the weekends or work program? No, I want to be in jail. I demand for you to take me back to jail. I don't ever want to see this outside world again. I demand you take me to jail. That's where we're at right now. That's because we have liberal asshole idiots that want to continue the fantasy. So, what are we going to do? Just demand our own captivity. Okay? It's turning history on its head. You folks want to be captive. You want to be sick. You want to be captives. That's what you want. It's your greatest desire. All right, let's keep going. Aides tell that Donald Clinton will be reinstated in August. Sure. Young Republicans move away from capitalism. I don't even want to get into it. These are the Joe Biden conservatives. You know what I mean? You're talking about mindless idiots here, okay? We're not even going to get into it, okay? It just keeps getting worse and worse. And pretty soon, if you have an R in front of your name, you'll be arrested, okay? That's, you know, because we don't need them, okay? We've outgrown them. Sorry, folks, hang on. I have to hold this camera. McAfee death sparks conspiracies. It's not a conspiracy to me. I think he was done in, but it's possible he wasn't. But I think he was done in. How do you like that? Call me a conspiracy theorist, okay? His widow says he was not suicidal. Well, I don't know, because a couple days in a Barcelona, Spain jail, and it may be the easiest way. I don't know. I know in Mexico it ain't pleasant either. You can only imagine another Latino country probably wasn't too good. Okay? So, I don't know. I kind of think that he was done in. Okay? That's my personal feeling on it. All right? All right. Let's see. It says something about Assange fiance urges Biden to free WikiLeaks founder. I don't know what that means, and I don't care. Well, this is always refreshing. Michael Myers is back for another bloodbath. Isn't that what we've all been waiting for? What could be better than taking the kids down to a slice them up, dice them up blood fest, right? Right. Okay, there we go. So it's called Halloween Kills. You'll certainly want to take all of your young children down to see how they mutilate and everything else in this movie. It ought to be fun for all, okay? Says grisliest yet. Oh, well, line up to see it, okay? Please. They seem like Democratic activists. They were secretly conservative spies. Well, the other part is true, too. Okay, it happened to me on my last job interview. I kind of touched on it on my other station. By the way, straight men, you better listen to what I tell you right now. If you go down for a job interview, and this may be old hat now, so it may not be applying, but for a while when they were thinking about possibly letting people take off their masks, I forget what the term was, bridles, whatever the hell we want to call it. I forgot now. They had people, and I think it was mostly gay men. That's what I think. And if they were giving you your job interview like the one that was giving me a job interview, first of all, it was at the Galleria Mall, which is all high-end, upwardly mobile people, and I'm talking about wealthy people. That's a very wealthy area. So, first thing, virtually nobody was wearing a mask. Okay, that was number one that I noticed. Number two, you can bet your bottom dollar that I did not fool a 40-year-old gay man by wearing my old worn-out suit that I thought looked good. Okay, believe me, that would not fare well to a homosexual man who knows the dress code. Okay, so no points were gained. And if you ever go in and they say, "Oh, can I take my mask off? Do you mind?" You mind. You mind. Don't tell them you don't mind. Okay, because if you do, you're part of Trump. You understand? And the Trump Republican. Folks, that's exactly what happened to me. And he did the oldest trick in the book, which he said, oh yeah, we're hiring for Pompano, but you'd be good in the Hollywood office. So he created a thing to take the responsibility off of himself. Well, I can't hire you for this, but we have somebody down in Hollywood that would love you. They create a third person or a shadow person. It's done all the time in sales, or when people want to avoid sales. They say, I'm not in charge. That's the manager. You have to talk to the manager. Oftentimes, they're the owner and they're just saying shit to get rid of you. Okay? So, watch yourselves. If you go in for jobs, you have to get a boner. You have to insist that you never, ever take off your mask. Even if you were having oral sex, you would find a way to make it so that you would have to have your mask on. Okay? Let's just suffice it to say that. Okay? Trust me when I tell you, straight men, okay? Or you'll pay the price like I did, okay? So stupid I was, all right? Deadly shooting in somewhere. Police thwart multiple terror attacks on Tel Aviv Pride Parade. Well, what do you expect, right? There's a lot of people who do not support the Pride. They don't want to see advertisements for AutoZone with women that have been dressed up to play the part of functioning males. I'm sorry to tell you that. I mean, I've seen it. They put 3 times the life-size pictures up in the window of women that want to look like men. Okay? That are very responsible and so forth and so on. A lot of people don't like it. You're trying to change the public perception that has been around for, I don't know how long, but since a long, long time, okay? Believe me when I tell you folks, you folks don't believe this, but it's true. And they're not going to put up with it likely. That's likely what's going to happen, and you're going to see what happens, okay? I don't know. You know, it's just, you can't change, you can't move the what do you call that? The evolution of time like that. You can't just make these gigantic jumps. It never does work. I mean, look at Christianity. They tried to introduce the idea of Christianity in Rome, and it took a couple hundred years for that to catch on. And that was with a lot of people dying. A lot. And then you had your emperors that wound up converting. But it took hundreds of years. 200-300 years, 400 years, 500 years. You can't just have somebody come in and say, this is the way it is. They did that in Egypt too. Okay? They had their own pharaohs. And then, what was it? That guy that with that huge guy? That huge, I forgot what, Ananakin or whatever his name is. The guy looked like a woman. He was huge. He was like 7 foot 8 inches. He was huge. He might have been 8 feet. And that guy came in and said, we're changing everything. It's going to be sun worship. And that's what he did. And that's what everybody started to do. But they rejected it. They rejected it. They did. Look for yourself. They rejected it. And they desecrated after he was overthrown. They desecrated everything to go back to the pharaohs. Oh, I hate having to give a history lesson to people because it just makes me sadder and sadder that a person of my abilities and my social status has to be at the top of the game right now, and other people that are out there don't have a clue. You know, that's what bothers me. This is wrong. I shouldn't be so high up, and I am. All right. Vladimir Putin from Russia has torture dungeons, shock pipes, beatings, and clamped penises. Okay. Real life Tarzan lived 41 years not knowing women existed and ate rat heads. I saw it. It's some sort of an Oriental and skinny Oriental person. I don't know whether to believe it or not. You know how I'm skeptical of that? Possible. It's possible. They have had feral children. I've seen it before. And what they did to them wasn't good. When they rescued them, there was inherent behavior they could not overcome, like going to the bathroom. They'd circle around and stuff like that. They couldn't break these habits, and they wound up putting them through scientific experiments every day ad infinitum. And it was really inhumane to do that to this little girl. They did that to a little girl, and she really was raised by I forget, it was orangutans or something, whatever it was. She was raised by them, and that's how she functioned. And her whole back was messed up because she walked on all fours. So her back was messed up, and she continued to want to walk like that. It was all messed up. What they did to her was horrible, and they wound up suing for her, and the woman they won because they had no right to make her into an ongoing medical experiment. They had no right to do that to her. So I remember watching that special. That was long ago. We're going to skip everything having to do with UFOs. I am not interested, okay? Until they shake hands with President Donald Clinton and put him into office in August, I don't want to hear anything more about UFOs, okay? Let's see. New prehistoric human unknown to science. Key inflation indicator posts biggest year-over-year gain in 3 decades. Have you gone to the store, folks? I spent $60 on almost nothing. You understand? Almost nothing. It's ridiculous. You understand? Ridiculous. This I thought was interesting. It says Bitcoin traders, I don't know if they were Caribbean guys or Indian or Muslim. I don't know what they were, but I read the story. They took off with $3.4 billion in crypto. So they had people investing their crypto with them or whatever it was, and they just told them, don't call the authorities because it'll make it harder to get your Bitcoin back. So they just took the money and ran. Okay? So I don't know what to say about it. It's the biggest heist is what they're saying yet. And it was one guy was 17 years old. The brother was 23, I think. I know the one was 17. Man admitted storming Capitol, then told FBI his pastor had come with him. You know, folks, it's complicated, and there's not enough time to go into it, but you had people that were not mentally right, okay? They were trying to do what was right, but they were not within their right mind. They were living under false pretenses of their own stupidity. And they were doing really stupid things, okay? And you can't have that. You can't go in and start going by your own, okay, this one deserves it, but don't do it to that desk. No, we don't do that, dude. We don't go there. We're above these people. They were completely out of their minds, okay? How you could think that President Donald Clinton had anything to do with it or not to do with it is a joke. He shouldn't have been doing anything. He shouldn't have even did anything. He should have steered clear from the whole thing. But that's what he was. That's what he wanted. You libs should thank Donald Clinton. He's doing your work for you. They're going to have a national holiday for it, aren't they? They have another government holidays. Pretty soon we can be like the Romans and have 115 holidays. What was it? It was more than that, wasn't it? Wasn't it 148 holidays? Hang on, I'll ask. Let's be like the Romans and we can have a holiday, maybe 150 holidays every year. I mean, it'd put everybody in a good mood, wouldn't it? Let me see. Let me ask that question. How many holidays a year did the Romans have? How many holidays were there in ancient Rome per year? It's not doing it. Roman festivals, it's probably not going to show it, but I know that there was at least like 140. It was something like 1 out of every 2.5 days they had a major holiday. And let's see. No, they're not going to show it, fucking assholes. You know why? Because it's probably the libs saying, don't show that on Google. Don't show that, okay? Don't show that. Somebody's going to be wise enough to bring it to attention to it. Let's not do this. You know what I mean, folks? So frustrating. Let's get back to the news and finish this out. Painfully slow today. Alright, sorry folks, I have to get back to where we were. Sydney is locking down again as something is spreading, okay? Back! Okay, we won't say it. Portugal imposes stricter rules. My goodness, they care about their people so much. They couldn't let them their stupidity overcome them. They need a mother hen. You understand? That's what we need here. We need to lock people into their apartments and houses and bring them the necessary food and water. That's what they did in the Philippines. My wife told me all about this. There were people that would go out and get stuff and bring it back to the people because they didn't want anything to spread. We've got to get it out of the earth. You understand? Don't even want to hear about it. Colosseum Underground Labyrinth restored to eerie splendor. It's awful. They used to have working manual elevators that they used to bring tigers and prisoners and you name it out there to join in the barbaric festivities of ancient Rome, which, by the way, you mindless idiot lefties, you might understand that they all thought that this was normal. You understand? They all thought this was completely normal. It's completely normal. Honest to God, they thought this was completely normal. To see people ripped apart in 6-8 pieces, and the more bloodletting, the better. I think this was perfectly a legitimate place to take your kids on Friday, Saturday night. I mean, the Colosseum was a pretty happening place. So don't think that because you're with the main crew that you're right. You understand? It means you're more in control, and that's all. You're still masters of evil, all you asshole lefties. And I'm not a righty. At least not all the way, believe me. Florida to send 50 law enforcement officers to Texas border. Yeah, that'll stop everything. That'll stop everything, sure. Britney Spears, I love her. I don't know why, I just love her. I feel sorry for her because I think that she's neurotic and I think she's had problems with her family, particularly her dad, who's probably doing other things too. That'd be my guess. Britney speaks out again, apologizes for pretending everything was okay. All right, well, it wasn't okay. All right, according to Britney. Kids test positive on Royal Caribbean cruise. Strap them down. Folks, I am so tired of this. My next video is going to be an instructional video for you. Yeah, you. Because today, it just kind of, you're really pretty much convinced of something. Well, today, even and I'm about as militant as you can get on this, that's it. I set the final epiphany. I had a final epiphany today and set the mark. And I'm going to show it to you as soon as we're done with this video. And I mean it. I am done with this. Period. End of story. I don't want to hear anything more about it. Okay? Nothing. I'm not interested in the least. I'm not interested in variations. I'm not interested in any of this ever again. And I'm not listening to one single thing about it. You understand? And I'm going to show you. I might even do it at the end of this video. So you can see what my feelings are on it. It says that jab-linked heart condition tends to resolve quickly. So no problem. It tends to resolve itself quickly. So if your heart is swelling, don't worry about it, or the tissue or something. Don't worry about it. It'll heal up itself. Don't worry about that. Okay? Chauvin, that's the idiot who decided to play God with another human being, whether it was white or black, victim or not. it does make a difference because of the situation we have in this country. But it was ridiculous. It was horrendous, and he had no business doing it, and he needs to be put in jail. And all my Republican friends say, oh, he died of a heart condition. He didn't. Asshole, you get somebody leaning on your fucking head for 20 minutes, and then you can talk to me about that. Once that son of a bitch did that to that man, he had a responsibility to make sure he didn't at least die. You understand that, asshole Republicans? I'm an equal opportunity hater. You understand that? That's why nobody likes me. You take responsibility for the person. If the man says that he can't breathe, then and he says he's sick, he doesn't feel well, you have to call an ambulance for him. You understand? Or you're culpable and liable for it. You understand? Just because you're a police officer doesn't give you the right to not administer medical attention when the victim needs it. You just, you have to torture. It's torture because you can't torture the person anymore. You enjoy the torturing. So you have to stop. So in a way, it's unfair to the torturer. But that's the way you got to do it. You understand? I'm done with this. So tired of it. It's mindless idiots. Michael Lindell, my pillow guy, he said it was had a heart attack. You're stupid as a fucking libs. Idiots. Can't think. Can't discern anything. YouTube takes down intermittent camps videos, whatever that meant. Well, it's coming probably. Probably it is. Don't worry. There'll be dangerous variations. And, look, they're just going to have to be put there. I already predicted this in the Philippines. I told my wife. She still doesn't believe me. The days of having 8,000 people at the McDonald's, or McDo, as they say in the Philippines, are over. They're done. They're finished. You understand? They're done. It'll never happen again. That means one thing. They are going to corral those people by the millions. There's 110 million of those little fuckers over there. You understand? On a landmass that's a sliver of the United States, and they have a third of our population almost. Okay? What does that tell you? It's obvious what's coming, but they don't want to see. They just listen to each other over there. They think they're smart. That's it, folks. Now, as a special treat here, I'm going to show you the final Trump card on this, and I'm going to close it with this, and I want you people to pay attention to this, because this is what you have to live by, and it is fantasy, but it's applicable, and that's it. I'm done with this. I don't want to hear anything more about variations. I don't want to hear anything more about superheroes, frontline superheroes, backline superheroes, backdoor superheroes, front door superheroes. Not interested in the least anymore.